there is something to be said about we're going to change a character's race, and now we're good people for doing that. And some of it, I just don't care. Right? I'm sure none of us really care. The Black Stormtrooper, I can't think of the young man's real name, John Boyega. I don't know if you read the article the interview he had in UK GQ, but he got pretty pissed about the 3 Post movies because apparently he was told he was going to have a much bigger role.
Yeah.
And I remember that trailer where he takes off the helmet and you see a black person, and for me, it was a black person, but it was also like, oh, it's not a clone.
Yes. So the in-world narrative implications of it being not a clone, and then the real-world implications of it being a black guy, right?
Yeah. So, and then I think he ends the movie with the lightsaber, and there was a fight, and that maybe people got mad at a colored Jedi, but you Mace Windu. I don't know. Like, why? I hate the fact that kind of identity politic becomes an issue for people.
Yep. So there's different versions of it, right? I'll tell you my story and how it hit me. And the first time I really had to look inside and say, why am I feeling this way? Do you remember the first Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck as Daredevil?
Yeah.
Do you remember who played the Kingpin?
No.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh,
right.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So in the comics, Kingpin has always been this big, bald, fat, muscular white guy, right? He's white. He's the white corporate mafia, like that's what he is. So in the movie, all of a sudden he's being played by a black actor. Does that change the character? Does it matter? Does that bring with it, is there anything that changes about the character that it's now a black actor instead of a white actor? And my initial reaction to it, being honest, was, why did they do that? This is just forced diversity. There's no reason. Why can't they just make him a white guy? What's the difference? And I don't really know what the answer to that question is. For me, when I actually stopped and pulled back and said, okay, well, what is this doing in world? What is this doing? Does this bring a different turn to the character? Should I see this character differently as far as like how he became a kingpin? What is the implications of this guy being black in the city of New York and being in the position that he's in versus him being white in the city of New York and the position that he's in? How does that change the dynamic of superhero versus supervillain? What does that do in world? And then outworld, in my real world, what does it mean to me? What do I care? What do I care who's playing him? He's a great actor. Can he pull off the role? Yes. Then shut up. Why does it matter? So, but it's a question, right? Go ahead.
David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, or Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury?
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson all day long. David Hasselhoff never did anything with the character, right? Like, that's a different one as far as, like, in terms of the comics, right? Like, Nick Fury's always been a white guy in the comics. He's basically just like a James Bond type of, super secret agent, kind of character. David Hasselhoff played him in like one made-for-TV movie thing that never did anything. So it never got established in a wide scale as that's what the character is. So when Samuel L. Jackson takes on Nick Fury, he's basically got a blank slate. He can do anything he wants with it. Like Kingpin was more important in terms of Daredevil and whatever. No, Nick Fury, even in the comics, wasn't really a big deal when at the time, and never really has been since that whole Cold War secret spy agent stuff was big back in the 60s and 70s. But Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, he got a blank slate essentially with that character to do whatever he wanted. And to his credit, he's a great actor. He's got a lot of charisma, and he just owned that role.
Yes.
So everybody was like, oh, okay, he's awesome. So he's Nick Fury. And like I said, for I'd say 99% of the people out there, they don't know who Nick Fury was anyway.
To hear the rest of this show and more, you can find us at This Is Revolution Podcast, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And if you feel so inclined and you'd like to help the channel grow, there's a link in the description to our Patreon. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.